Democratic pollster Carly Cooperman. Carly, let's just talk about this number. It's enormous, right? It's small donors, it's big donors. I know there are some people cranky about it, but you can't argue with $81 million in one day. How much of that is real, like, zeal and excitement about Kamala Harris specifically? And how much of it, in your mind, is just like this relief and catharsis that the last 3.5 weeks of chaos is over?
Definitely the latter, but it's both. I think at this point, especially for the Democrats, it's all mixed into one. I mean, you see $81 million that Kamala announced in the last 24 hours since her candidacy. Plus, there was another $150 million that donors announced to Future Forward, which is the super PAC that is supporting the president on the Democratic side, the Democratic campaign. And there is a great enthusiasm among Democrats and Democratic donors. They have tremendous respect for Joe Biden, but absolutely feel that he needed to step aside, and that the polling, the numbers show that it was very bleak for Biden if he were to stay into the campaign. So I think there's a tremendous relief that it's now going to be Kamala at the top of the ticket. There's a willingness and excitement to coalesce around her, to support her. Really big show with money, and now it's a question of what happens from here.
And you can see there on your screen, the vice president is talking to members of her campaign in Delaware. We're keeping an eye on that. And since you're a pollster, Carly, let's talk about the polling. If you look at it, some surveys show that Biden underperforms Harris against Donald Trump. Some polls show it's like roughly a wash. In other cases, you know, she's stronger. It kind of depends on the state where she could be stronger or weaker. That was at least hypothetical polling. Now the polling becomes not hypothetical at all. Is the numbers and the data that we've seen for the last couple of weeks, is that kind of useful as a baseline, or does this all change dramatically? What do you expect?
Well, I think there are real trends that we can take away from the polling that we've seen, because when we look at polling from a month ago, 6 weeks ago, even farther back, when Kamala was tested in hypothetical matchups, she tended to fare worse than Joe Biden did against Donald Trump. However, in the last few weeks after the debate, and more recently, even in the polls from last week, as there was mounting pressure and consideration of Biden dropping out, we began to see the polls showed that they were almost neck and neck against Trump, and actually polls started to have her doing better than Biden was doing against Trump. So I think that speaks to the fact that there was less and less faith in Biden and as a candidate against Trump, and more support, more willingness among Democrats to get behind her, and really seeking some alternative. And so I think we're going to see now that the polls show this is a very, very close race.
Yep, and we'll be watching it. Definitely over the next couple days, week or two, we'll get a better picture of how the polling looks right now. Carly Cooperman, thanks so much.